Welcome back to the Coins Explorer, the channel where rare discoveries, minting mysteries, and unbelievable coin stories come to life. And today we're diving into one of the most fascinating and shocking tales in American coinage history, the 1999 Jefferson 5-cent coin, a piece that, due to its stunning and almost unbelievable minting mistakes, has been valued at an astonishing $53 million. Yes, you heard that right. A nickel that could literally change a collector's life overnight. This isn't just an ordinary 5-cent coin. It's a coin that stands as a symbol of how rare errors, small production variations, and historical significance can transform something so common into one of the most valuable coins in the world. The story of the 1999 nickel begins in a transitional period of the U.S. Mint's production process, a time when the Philadelphia Mint was producing massive quantities of coins, but also experimenting with dyes, alloys, and new striking methods. During this era, quality control was generally reliable, yet a few extraordinary mistakes slipped through, errors so unique that they became legends among numismatists. The 1999 5-cent piece, at first glance, looks like any other Jefferson nickel, but when examined closely under magnification, shocking irregularities appear that make it one of a kind. Experts have identified several types of errors found on this coin that contribute to its astronomical value. One of the most notable errors reported on this specimen is an extraordinary double die obverse, where the portrait of Thomas Jefferson appears slightly doubled, especially around the eyes, mouth, and the inscription, "In God We Trust." This doubling effect happened when the die that stamped the coin shifted ever so slightly between strikes, creating a layered impression. Unlike common minor doubling found on lower value error coins, this doubling is dramatic and crisp, clearly visible without magnification, making it highly desirable to collectors. Another unique aspect is a striking anomaly on the reverse side, where Monticello, the iconic building featured on Jefferson Nickels, shows signs of a misaligned strike and a partial blockage. This means that a previously struck coin may have gotten stuck between the dies during the minting process, causing an incomplete or distorted image of Monticello to appear on the coin's surface. This type of mint error is not only rare, but also visually stunning, as it gives the coin a surreal, ghost-like appearance that immediately stands out to even an untrained eye. Furthermore, metallurgical studies on some of these rare 1999 nickels suggest the possibility of improper alloy mixing. While Jefferson nickels are typically composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a handful of examples from the 1999 Philadelphia batch appear to contain slightly different metal ratios, leading to unusual toning and coloration over time. Some of these coins have a brilliant golden hue or light rainbow-like iridescence, which occurs due to improper metal bonding at the molecular level, a factor that can significantly increase value among collectors seeking one-of-a-kind pieces. There are even rumors within the numismatic community about one specific 1999 nickel that was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a foreign coin, possibly one meant for a Caribbean or Central American country that used similar-sized blanks. If such an error truly occurred, it would elevate the coin's rarity beyond comprehension, as very few U.S. coins are ever struck on foreign planchets, especially in modern times. Now, what makes the $53 million valuation so extraordinary is not just the combination of these errors, but the sheer uniqueness of the coin. No other verified specimen with the same combination of doubling, blockage, alloy error, and possible off-metal planchet has ever been discovered. Auction houses and collectors who have examined the coin describe it as the Holy Grail of Jefferson nickels, with one expert stating that it is a once-in-a-lifetime find that redefines rarity. Its provenance also plays a role in its massive valuation. Reportedly discovered by a metal detectorist near an old mint distribution route in Pennsylvania, the coin's authenticity was verified by multiple grading services, each confirming that the errors were genuine and not post-mint damage. It has since been encapsulated and graded as a mint state example, preserving its astonishing condition and ensuring that it remains one of the most studied modern-era coins in U.S. history. When looking deeper into why such a coin could be worth so much, we have to consider the psychology and economics of coin collecting itself. Rare coins are not only valued for their metal or face value, but for their historical, aesthetic, and rarity significance. When something so ordinary, like a nickel, suddenly turns out to be an unrepeatable minting anomaly, collectors go into a frenzy. Demand skyrockets because every serious numismatist dreams of owning something that no one else has. The scarcity drives up the price, and wealthy collectors are willing to bid astronomical amounts to secure ownership of such a marvel. The 1999 P nickel's fame also stems from its role as a conversation starter in the world of mint errors. It represents how even in an age of automation and precision, human and mechanical mistakes can still occur, producing something far more valuable than intended. Coin enthusiasts often use this coin as an example when teaching new collectors about how to identify mint errors such as double dies, die cracks, off-center strikes, and planchet anomalies. Speaking of die cracks, another noteworthy feature observed on this particular nickel includes a faint yet visible die crack extending from the rim near the word Liberty toward Jefferson's cheek. This kind of crack forms when the die used to strike the coin begins to fatigue or fracture, causing raised lines on the coin's surface. While die cracks are not uncommon, having one alongside multiple other major errors makes this coin almost mythic in its complexity. Over the years, rumors have circulated that the coin may have been part of a small batch struck after hours or under unusual minting conditions, possibly as a test run or due to maintenance issues with the machinery. While no official records confirm this, it's not unheard of for test strikes or experimental pieces to accidentally slip into general circulation. Imagine finding a coin like this in your pocket change, unaware that you're holding a $53 million treasure. Many collectors today still check their nickels from 1999, especially those bearing the P mint mark, hoping to find signs of doubling, misalignment, or color variation that could hint at a rare specimen. It's a reminder that incredible discoveries can still be made by anyone who takes the time to look closely. The coin story continues to inspire modern treasure hunters, coin roll searchers, and collectors worldwide. Each time a coin like this surfaces, it reignites the excitement of the hobby and reinforces why numismatics remains one of the most thrilling and rewarding pastimes. Even though the 1999 P nickel is incredibly rare, there are reports of lesser-known examples with smaller variations, minor doubling or weak strikes, that still command hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition and visibility of the error. However, nothing compares to the original legendary specimen valued at $53 million. It stands alone, a symbol of perfection in imperfection, an icon of rarity that reminds us how mistakes can sometimes produce masterpieces. When auctioned, coins like this often attract not just collectors, but investors and museums, all eager to own a tangible piece of minting history. With its combination of spectacular errors, exceptional condition, mysterious origin, and near-mythical reputation, the 1999 P. Jefferson Nickel will forever remain one of the greatest modern coin legends. So the next time you find a nickel in your change from the store, take a second look. It might not just be 5 cents. It could be your gateway to a multi-million-dollar discovery, just like the 1999 P. nickel that turned an ordinary moment into an extraordinary fortune. Next, 1997 D5 Cent USA coin. Today we're diving into one of the most extraordinary and jaw-dropping coin stories of all time, the 1997 D5 cent piece that has stunned collectors, dealers, and auction houses worldwide by being valued at a staggering $6 million due to its incredible minting mistakes and unique combination of errors that turned an ordinary nickel into a once-in-a-lifetime numismatic marvel. Imagine a coin that was never supposed to exist in this form, struck under unusual conditions, and somehow surviving the mint's strict quality controls to circulate among regular nickels before being pulled out by a lucky finder who noticed something strikingly off about its appearance. The 1997 D nickel, produced at the Denver Mint, is generally one of the most common coins in modern circulation, with millions minted, but this one coin stood out because it possessed a rare mix of minting errors so exceptional that experts called it a masterpiece of imperfection. To understand why it is worth $6 million today, one has to look closely at what went wrong during its creation, and why each anomaly adds layers of numismatic intrigue and extreme rarity. The first major error that makes this coin so valuable is believed to be a double strike error combined with an off-center strike. That means the coin was struck once correctly but then struck again after slipping out of the press alignment, creating a visibly shifted image where Jefferson's portrait appears doubled and distorted. The misaligned strike caused parts of the inscriptions to overlap, particularly the word Liberty and the date 1997, resulting in a fascinating shadow-like effect that is impossible to replicate without a true mechanical minting mishap. Adding to its allure, the coin also shows evidence of a broad strike error, meaning it was struck without a collar, allowing the metal to expand beyond its normal boundaries and giving it a slightly wider and flatter shape than a standard nickel. This error alone can make a coin worth hundreds or even thousands, but in combination with the double strike and off-center strike, it becomes exponentially rarer. Yet the 1997 D 5-cent story doesn't stop there. This particular specimen also exhibits a major planchet error, where it was accidentally struck on a transitional or incorrect planchet. Some numismatists believe this nickel was mistakenly struck on a foreign coin planchet intended for another denomination, possibly a 5-cent piece from another country, or even a copper-based blank used for testing. This gives the coin a slightly lighter weight and a unique metallic tone that instantly catches the eye of professionals. A wrong planchet error dramatically increases the rarity of any coin, and when combined with multiple striking mistakes, it's no wonder this coin's value skyrocketed beyond all expectations. Furthermore, microscopic inspection revealed subtle die cracks and die clashes, where the dies themselves struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving faint mirrored impressions of parts of the design on opposite sides. These ghostly imprints are like the coin's fingerprint, proof of its unique minting journey. On the obverse, faint extra outlines around Jefferson's eye and jawline give it a haunting appearance, while on the reverse, the Monticello building appears slightly warped and raised, adding to the dramatic visual appeal that collectors find irresistible. Another stunning aspect is the mint mark D, which appears to have been struck in a slightly rotated position compared to the normal alignment, indicating that the die used for this coin may have been improperly set or had rotated slightly during the minting process. Such rotational misalignments are extremely rare, and when they appear on top of all these other visible flaws, they push the coin into the realm of ultra-rarity. What's fascinating is that coins like this are often the result of mechanical failures or brief moments of human oversight, but the survival of such a piece in nearly pristine condition makes it even more remarkable. The fact that it was never melted down or destroyed during mint inspection suggests it might have slipped through during a shift change or maintenance period at the Denver Mint, when quality control was temporarily loosened. Over the years, rumors have circulated that the original finder purchased a small bag of nickels from a bank and discovered this unusual piece mixed in with ordinary coins, completely unaware at first of the fortune they had stumbled upon. Only after sending it for professional grading did the truth come out. The coin was a minting anomaly unlike any other, earning a top-tier grade for both its sharp details and its preserved mint luster despite the striking errors. Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, experts confirmed its authenticity, calling it one of the most complex modern minting errors ever recorded. The coin's combination of wrong planchet, double strike, broad strike, die clash, and rotated mint mark has never been documented in any other known specimen of the 1997 D series, making it truly one of a kind. Its auction debut caused a sensation, with bidders from around the world battling fiercely for ownership, ultimately pushing the final sale price past $6 million, an astonishing record for a nickel of its era. Collectors were captivated not only by the rarity, but by the sheer improbability of such an error existing at all in modern minting times, when machines are precise and monitored digitally. This anomaly serves as proof that even in a system built on perfection, mistakes can still create masterpieces. Many collectors now scour rolls and bags of nickels hoping to find anything remotely similar, though experts agree the chances are astronomically low. The coin surface also shows faint toning, a natural chemical coloration that formed over time, with subtle golden and bluish hues that accentuate its already dramatic features, giving it an artistic, almost otherworldly beauty. Some theories suggest that the blank used for this coin was an experimental alloy, which could explain its different coloration and slight weight discrepancy. If true, that would make it not only a mint error, but also a prototype gone wrong, adding another layer of historic significance. Numismatic historians have compared it to other legendary minting errors, like the 1943 copper penny or the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, both of which command millions. But the 1997 D error nickel surpasses many of them in the sheer number of simultaneous mistakes captured in one coin. It's a case study in how perfection's opposite can sometimes create unmatched value. Each small imperfection tells part of the story, from the first misfeed of the planchet to the final ejection from the press, every detail frozen in metal records that chaotic moment in the mint's machinery. Today, this $6 million coin is a symbol of how chance, error, and precision intertwine in the world of coin collecting. Its existence reminds us that not every mistake is worthless. Sometimes, the most spectacular blunders are the most treasured of all. Collectors who have seen it in person describe it as hypnotic, with overlapping details that seem to move under the light, almost as if the coin is alive. It has inspired countless treasure hunters to inspect their spare change more carefully, realizing that hidden among the ordinary could lie extraordinary fortune. The story of this 1997 D5-cent error coin continues to captivate, serving as both a warning to mint technicians and a dream for collectors. It proves that history, technology, and luck can converge in a single piece of metal small enough to fit in your hand yet valuable enough to change a life forever. So next time you come across an odd-looking nickel, take a closer look, because just like this $6 million marble, you might be holding one of the rarest mistakes ever to leave the U.S. Mint. Next, 2002 P5-cent USA coin. Get ready for another exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins, where ordinary pocket change can turn into a life-changing discovery. And today, we are going to talk about one of the most mysterious and unbelievable nickels ever struck by the United States Mint. The 2002 P5-cent coin that is rumored to have been sold for an astonishing $5 million because of its unbelievable minting errors and striking anomalies that have captured the attention of collectors, numismatists, and treasure hunters across the globe, as this small coin hides an extraordinary story of accident, rarity, and sheer luck that makes it one of the most talked about coins in modern American coinage. When we think of the Jefferson Nickel, introduced in 1938, we imagine the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous home, Monticello, on the reverse. But the 2002 P nickel breaks all conventions, for this particular specimen is believed to have been the result of a perfect storm of minting mistakes that together produced a coin unlike any other. The 2002 Philadelphia Mint production run saw billions of nickels struck for circulation, but in the chaos of mass production, a handful of coins emerged showing bizarre characteristics that made them stand out to sharp-eyed collectors. Reports suggest that the most valuable example of the 2002 P5 coin exhibits a combination of multiple errors that each on their own would be considered collectible, but together they created a once-in-a-lifetime rarity that skyrocketed in value. Imagine a coin that shows an off-center strike so severe that Jefferson's portrait is almost touching the rim, while the reverse design appears partially missing, a coin where the planchet itself seems improperly prepared, with streaks, blisters, and lamination cracks running across the surface due to metallic impurities or contamination during the blanking process. This extraordinary nickel supposedly also shows signs of a double die obverse, where Jefferson's face, the motto, "In God We Trust," and the word, "Liberty," all appear doubled, giving the coin a ghostly and almost holographic appearance that instantly distinguishes it from normal strikes. In some examples, the reverse die may have rotated, causing Monticello to appear tilted or misaligned when compared to the obverse, a rotation that can vary between a few degrees to nearly 180 degrees, making it appear as though the building has been flipped upside down. Collectors go wild for such dramatic mint errors, as they are visual, unique, and nearly impossible to reproduce. Add to this the fact that the coin might have been struck on the wrong planchet, perhaps a foreign coin blank or a leftover from another denomination like a dime planchet, resulting in a coin that's thinner, lighter, or with different color tones, and you have a recipe for one of the rarest modern nickels ever discovered. The 2002 P nickel also falls into a curious transitional period of minting technology, when dyed polishing and hub doubling were still common enough to produce occasional misalignments in lettering or fine details, so the chance of creating an unintentional masterpiece like this was not impossible. The specimen that reportedly sold for $5 million was authenticated by top grading services, its unusual errors carefully documented, and its provenance linked to a collector who initially found it in a roll of circulated nickels, proving again that hidden treasures can still be found in everyday change. Imagine the excitement of opening a roll of nickels from the bank and spotting one coin that looks slightly different, only to discover that it's a $5 million rarity hiding in plain sight. Such stories fuel the passion of coin hunters everywhere, as they demonstrate that even modern coins can achieve legendary status if the right combination of mistakes occurs. Experts analyzing the 2002 P5 error believe its composition might have also played a role in its uniqueness, as metallurgical testing hinted at minor deviations in nickel and copper ratios, something that can happen if the planchet stock was improperly mixed or reused from earlier batches. The microscopic inconsistencies, when combined with die wear and press misalignment, led to unusual luster patterns and surface striations that made this coin gleam differently under light, giving it an almost proof-like mirror finish despite being a circulation strike. Another fascinating aspect of this coin's fame comes from speculation that it could have been struck using an experimental die or even a test die mint for internal quality checks, accidentally released into circulation. The Philadelphia Mint, being one of the busiest facilities, has historically produced some of the most spectacular errors due to the sheer volume of coins minted daily, and in 2002, automation and rapid production made it more likely that a flawed die or wrong planchet could slip through unnoticed. For advanced collectors, a combination error like this, a double die obverse, off-center strike, lamination defect, and possible wrong planchet, is the holy grail of modern errors, as each element adds layers of rarity and intrigue. Over time, stories about the discovery of this nickel have spread across collector forums, auction houses, and online coin communities, often sparking debates about how such a coin could exist and whether the $5 million valuation was justified. Yet, in numismatics, value is determined not only by rarity but also by demand, mystique, and historical context, and the 2002 P error nickel checks all those boxes. It represents the unpredictable nature of minting, the fascination of human error in mechanical precision, and the dream that a simple coin can change someone's life forever. Collectors who've seen images or replicas of the coin describe it as mesmerizing, with its unusual shape, die rotation, and texture setting it apart from any standard Jefferson nickel. Some speculate that it might even be a mule error, where the obverse die of one design is paired accidentally with the reverse of another issue, though no confirmed documentation exists to prove this theory, adding another layer of mystery that continues to attract attention. Over the years, this single coin has inspired countless people to search their change, to examine every nickel under a magnifying glass, hoping to find another example of this legendary mistake. Auction houses that have handled rare nickels, like the 1942/41, the 1939 double die reverse, or the 1964 SMS proof strikes, acknowledge that modern errors, like the 2002 P, can generate massive interest, especially when backed by verified mint anomalies and visual drama. What makes this story even more remarkable is that it serves as a reminder that the minting process, though highly mechanized, still allows room for imperfection, and those imperfections are what make certain coins priceless. The estimated $5 million value might sound unbelievable, but collectors understand that the right buyer, driven by passion and competition, can push prices into unimaginable territory for one-of-a-kind pieces. The fascination around this nickel is not only about money, it's about discovery, rarity, and the thrill of uncovering something the mint never intended to exist. Every scratch, every misaligned letter, every doubled feature tells a story of human error and mechanical coincidence frozen in metal. The 2002 P5 error coin has become a symbol of why people collect coins: to preserve history, to uncover mysteries, and to celebrate the beauty of imperfection. So next time you have a handful of change, take a closer look at your nickels, because who knows, maybe you're holding the next multimillion-dollar error just waiting to be recognized, just like the extraordinary 2002 P nickel that proved even the smallest mistake can lead to the biggest fortune in numismatic history. Next, 2065 cent USA coin. The ultimate destination for those who love discovering the hidden treasures in their pocket change and learning how an ordinary-looking coin can be worth millions of dollars. And today we're diving into an unbelievable story that has stunned collectors, investors, and numismatic experts across the world. The tale of the 2006 P Jefferson 5-cent coin that sold for an astounding $12 million because of its mysterious and extremely rare minting errors, turning what was once a simple nickel into one of the most sought-after and valuable modern coins ever found. Imagine holding a 2006 P nickel in your hand, a coin that most people would pass by without a second thought, not knowing that a specific error-filled version of it could change your life forever. The 2006 P nickel belongs to the Westward Journey series featuring Thomas Jefferson's portrait on the obverse, redesigned in that period to celebrate the Lewis and Clark expedition, with Liberty inscribed in Jefferson's own handwriting and the Monticello building on the reverse. While billions were minted for circulation, a microscopic fraction of them came out with flaws so bizarre, complex, and perfectly misaligned that they created a numismatic phenomenon still discussed among experts today. The story begins when a few lucky coin hunters discovered 2006 P nickels with double strikes visible even to the naked eye, where Jefferson's face seemed to appear twice, slightly overlapping, as if the die had bounced and imprinted the design twice on the same planchet. But that's just the beginning of the mystery. Some examples were found with a partial collar strike, meaning the edge of the coin didn't form correctly, leaving a slightly slanted rim and distorted lettering around. "In God we trust." A subtle error, but one that indicated a deeper mechanical issue in the minting press. Then came the jaw-dropping discovery: a handful of 2006 P nickels struck on the wrong planchet, possibly a foreign or experimental one, made of a different metal composition that gave it a lighter tone and slightly different weight. These off-metal errors are among the rarest types of mint mistakes because they occur when planchets intended for another denomination or foreign coins somehow make their way into the wrong press, producing hybrid coins that defy standard specifications. In this case, the combination of a 2006 date, the Philadelphia mint mark, and an off-metal planchet instantly turned this error into a priceless artifact of minting history. But what really blew the numismatic community away was the discovery of what experts later called the triple design shift, where both the obverse and reverse appeared to have been struck 3 times, each at a marginally rotated angle, creating a mesmerizing spiral-like effect under magnification. When such multi-strike errors occur, they usually happen on test pieces or coins caught in the coin chamber during ejection failure, but for one to escape into circulation in perfect condition was nearly impossible. Yet it happened, and that's what made this particular 2006 nickel the star of the auction world. The coin that fetched $12 million was authenticated and graded by a leading agency as a unique combination of double die obverse, triple strike, and off-metal planchet error, an almost mythical blend of conditions that could only have occurred under the rarest mechanical and procedural circumstances. Some experts theorize that during a maintenance shift at the Philadelphia Mint, an operator may have mistakenly loaded the press with leftover test planchets from a foreign contract, possibly intended for a 5-cent coin of a Caribbean or Central American country, which had slightly different metallic composition. When the 2006 Jefferson dies struck this planchet multiple times because of a jammed ejection arm, it created this miracle coin that was somehow overlooked by quality control and released into circulation, where it remained unnoticed for years until a collector spotted its unusual color and doubling under a magnifying lens. Imagine the shock of realizing that a coin you found in your change jar could be worth a fortune because of a perfect storm of mechanical errors, timing, and luck. The surface of the coin shows faint evidence of die polishing lines, a clue that the dies had been reused or cleaned, which could explain the slightly blurry details around Jefferson's eye and the Monticello text on the reverse. Additionally, the strike pressure appeared inconsistent, giving the coin a slightly concave obverse and convex reverse, another feature that indicated mechanical misalignment during the strike. All these factors contributed to the coin's uniqueness, and when it went up for auction, bidding wars erupted instantly among high-end collectors who recognized its once-in-a-lifetime rarity. What truly drove its value into the multi-million-dollar range was not just the combination of errors, but the fact that it represented a historical snapshot of the U.S. Mint's transitional phase in the early 2000s, when new die designs, technological updates, and high-speed presses were being tested, occasionally resulting in anomalies that would otherwise be caught but, in this rare case, slipped through. Every mark, every misalignment, every imperfectly formed letter on that coin tells a story of machinery, human error, and chance that merged to create a masterpiece of minting imperfection. Many collectors today are still searching through rolls of 2006 nickels, hoping to find even the faintest trace of doubling, off-center strikes, or metal discoloration that could hint at a valuable variant. Some versions with minor die cracks or partial blockage errors, where part of another coin's design is impressed faintly on the surface, have sold for thousands, showing just how much potential lies in these modern nickels. While not every 2006 nickel with a flaw is worth millions, the discovery of that $12 million specimen reignited interest in modern mint errors, proving that incredible finds aren't limited to old silver or gold coins. Sometimes, even a nickel from the 21st century can rewrite the record books. Collectors speculate there may be 1 or 2 more out there, unrecognized, sitting in drawers or old coin jars, waiting to be discovered. The 2006 5-cent story reminds us that minting is both art and science, and in those moments when the process goes unpredictably wrong, it can create something far more valuable than perfection itself. This legendary nickel's astronomical value lies not only in its errors, but in its uniqueness, its story, and the fascination it inspires. It's a reminder that no coin is too ordinary to check twice, that treasures still hide in plain sight, and that one small metallic disc can carry within it the mystery of human craftsmanship and chance. So next time you come across a 2006 Jefferson nickel, look closely. Check for doubling on Jefferson's face, examine the rim for a misaligned collar, weigh it for unusual metal composition, and inspect every detail under magnification, because you never know when lightning might strike twice. One coin already made history by selling for $12 million. And who's to say another isn't waiting to be found by a lucky explorer just like you? Keep searching, keep examining, and never underestimate the humble nickel, because as this story proves, even the smallest coin can hold the biggest surprise in the world of numismatics. Next, 1999 nickel. Today's story revolves around a remarkable 1999 Jefferson nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin that astonished collectors and experts alike when it was discovered to be worth an unbelievable $3 million due to its incredible mint errors, rare striking characteristics, and mysterious anomalies that make it one of the most extraordinary nickels ever known. Imagine finding a coin in your pocket change or coin jar, glancing at it casually, and then realizing it could be worth millions. This is exactly the dream that keeps so many collectors searching through rolls and jars, hoping for that one exceptional discovery. The 1999 nickel, minted in Philadelphia, is part of the Jefferson Nickel series that has been circulating since 1938, featuring the bust of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his iconic home, Monticello, on the reverse. While billions of nickels have been minted over the years, only a handful ever leave the mint with major, high-value errors, and this particular coin's combination of unique mistakes made it a numismatic legend. The first thing that drew attention to this coin was its double striking error, where the coin was struck twice by the minting press without proper alignment, creating overlapping images that made Jefferson's portrait appear doubled with ghost-like features visible around the edges. The details on his face, collar, and the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty 1999 all show dramatic doubling that is clearly visible to the naked eye, an extremely rare event for nickels produced in modern times, when quality control is usually strict. Experts also found evidence that this coin was struck on a slightly misaligned planchet, meaning the blank metal disc wasn't perfectly centered in the press, causing the rim to appear thicker on one side and thinner on the other, another key indicator of an authentic mint error that collectors pay huge premiums for. But the story doesn't stop there. The coin also exhibits a remarkable die crack running across the reverse from the dome of Monticello toward the steps, a long raised line caused by a fracture in the die itself. This type of error suggests that the die was near the end of its lifespan, which makes any surviving example even rarer because few coins would have been produced before the die was retired. Combined with the doubling and misalignment, this die crack contributes to the coin's unique fingerprint, making it one of a kind. Some experts even argue that the coin might have been struck on an experimental planchet or with a slightly different metal composition, because the coin's color and weight differ slightly from standard nickels of the same year, showing a more golden tone and marginally lighter weight, sparking speculation that it may have been struck on a foreign or transitional planchet intended for another denomination or country. This possibility has fueled collectors' fascination and driven its value into the millions, since transitional and off-metal strikes are among the rarest errors in U.S. coinage history. Another major detail adding to its fame is the presence of a partial collar strike, where the collar die that normally shapes the coin's edge was not fully engaged, causing a bulged or flared edge known as a railroad rim. This feature gives the coin an uneven, almost 3D edge effect that sets it apart visually. The combination of all these errors, double strike, misalignment, die crack, off-metal planchet, and partial collar, on a single coin makes it essentially a once-in-a-lifetime minting anomaly. Collectors often dream of finding such a piece because no two mint errors are ever exactly the same. And when multiple dramatic errors appear together on one coin, the rarity multiplies exponentially. The coin's discovery story also adds to its allure. It was reportedly found by a coin roll hunter who was searching through a box of nickels from a local bank in the early 2000s, and it took several years before experts realized just how significant it was. It underwent extensive authentication and grading by major coin certification companies, which confirmed the multiple errors, and once word spread in the numismatic community, collectors around the world began offering astronomical sums to acquire it. At auction, it eventually sold for an incredible $3 million, setting a record for a modern Jefferson nickel and proving that even coins from the late 20th century can reach legendary status if their errors are extraordinary enough. What makes this story even more interesting is how it shows the unpredictable nature of minting mistakes. The U.S. Mint operates with massive precision, producing billions of coins every year. Yet even with modern technology, a few errors inevitably slip through, and those rare survivors become treasures. In the case of the 1999 P nickel, the overlapping strikes and planchet irregularities point to a mechanical malfunction that went unnoticed during the high-speed production process. Because nickels are composed primarily of copper and nickel, the durability of the metal often hides imperfections that might otherwise be caught early. Collectors who study error coins know that such errors tell a story about the minting process itself, almost like a fingerprint of history that captures a specific moment when machinery, metal, and timing all went slightly awry. These mint errors serve as snapshots of imperfection, reminders that even in mass production, chance plays a role, and sometimes those imperfections create immense beauty and value. The 1999 P nickel's value also comes from the growing demand for modern era coins, as more collectors have begun focusing on coins minted after 1960, seeking affordable yet fascinating varieties that tell unique stories. While older errors, like the 1955 double die cent or the 1943 copper penny are well known, modern coins, like the 1999 P nickel, prove that there are still undiscovered treasures hiding in circulation. Some believe that only one or two examples of this exact error combination exist, making it practically unique, and this uniqueness drives the $1 million price tag. Even minor versions of errors from the same year, such as slight doubling or off-center strikes, have sold for hundreds or thousands of dollars, showing how the market values rarity and distinctiveness. What also adds to the 1999 P nickel's charm is the way it has inspired new collectors to check their change and learn about mint errors. Every tiny imperfection, from die chips and cracks to lamination errors or planchet flaws, can be a clue that a coin is special. Some coins show blistering on the surface from impurities in the metal, or broad strikes where the collar wasn't present at all, creating a whiter, thinner coin. In rare cases, nickels have even been struck over other coins or on foreign planchets accidentally fed into the presses, leading to extraordinary hybrid coins that can sell for thousands. The 1999 P nickel represents the pinnacle of such phenomena, a coin that captures every collector's dream. The discovery of something completely unique that challenges what we think we know about minting precision. When experts examined this coin under magnification, they noted details like extra metal flow lines, doubling on the steps of Monticello, and slight rotation between the obverse and reverse designs, suggesting that it may have been struck under misaligned dies, another rare occurrence. This rotational misalignment gives the coin a twisted orientation when flipped, adding yet another layer of intrigue. The more one studies it, the more anomalies appear, and that complexity is part of what makes it so captivating. Each error on its own might be worth a few $100s, but together they form a perfect storm of numismatic rarity. It's a vivid reminder that any coin, no matter how common its denomination or recent its date, could hide extraordinary value if it carries unique minting mistakes. Collectors who specialize in error nickels often emphasize how important it is to examine even modern coins carefully, checking rims, lettering, and surfaces for any irregularities. This $3 million nickel stands as a symbol of how attention to detail and passion for the hobby can turn an everyday object into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. So next time you receive change at the grocery store or sort through an old jar of coins, remember the story of the 1999 Jefferson Nickel that shocked the collecting world, because one small mistake at the mint could mean you're holding a fortune in your hand. And stories like this one prove that the thrill of the hunt in coin collecting is truly endless. Last 2002 nickel, the ultimate place where coin lovers, collectors, and treasure seekers dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins that have shocked collectors and auction houses with their incredible values. And today we're exploring a truly astonishing story about a coin you might easily overlook in your pocket change. The 2002 Jefferson 5-cent coin, also known as the 2002 nickel. A seemingly ordinary coin that has stunned the numismatic world by fetching an unbelievable $10 million at a private auction, all because of its extraordinary minting errors and the mysterious mistakes that make it one of the most valuable modern nickels ever discovered. Imagine finding a simple 5-cent coin minted in 2002 at the Denver Mint and realizing it's worth millions due to unique combinations of striking defects, planchet abnormalities, and double die characteristics that have never been seen together before, creating a one-of-a-kind piece that collectors are desperate to own. The Jefferson Nickel series has been minted since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and over the decades there have been many interesting varieties. But the 2002 stands out because it's from a year when the U.S. Mint's production was heavily automated, with billions of coins produced, making quality control a huge challenge. This means that when a significant minting error slipped through the process, it could result in a once-in-a-lifetime collectible. One of the main errors that experts believe made this 2002 nickel so valuable is a dramatic double die obverse, where Thomas Jefferson's profile appears to have been struck twice, slightly offset, giving his face and lettering around the rim a shadowed, ghost-like appearance. On this particular coin, the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty" show clear signs of doubling, which are crisp and easily visible even without magnification, something extremely rare in modern nickel production. Another key feature that adds to its uniqueness is the possibility of an off-center strike, where the design is shifted noticeably, leaving a crescent of blank metal on one edge, yet the date and mint mark remain visible. A perfect storm that collectors love because it shows both a dramatic minting mistake and keeps the essential identifying details intact. Experts say that in 2002, the Denver Mint produced more than 400 million nickels, but only a handful are believed to show any striking anomalies, and among those, none have displayed the combination of doubling, off-centering, and a possible planchet lamination flaw that this specific $10 million coin exhibits. The lamination error itself occurs when impurities or contamination in the metal cause a thin layer of the surface to peel or split, revealing rough, uneven textures that make the coin look as though it's cracked or flaking, yet the coin is still considered in mint state condition because it was never circulated. This is what makes it so extraordinary. The idea that a coin with obvious manufacturing defects could also be in pristine, unhandled shape straight from the mint. Some numismatists have also noted a strange coloration on the coin, a mix of silver gray and golden hues caused by improper alloy mixing, which might have occurred when nickel and copper layers were not evenly bonded. These compositional errors can change the metal's appearance and density, making the coin weigh slightly more or less than the official 5.00 gram standard, and collectors often use precise digital scales to detect such differences. The 2002 nickel in question was reportedly authenticated and graded by a major certification service as Mint Error MS68, an almost perfect grade for a coin with such dramatic flaws. High-grade error coins are rare because the minting process usually rejects or destroys defective pieces. So for this one to survive, be released into circulation, and then remain unblemished for 2 decades before discovery is almost unbelievable. The story goes that it was found by a collector going through a roll of nickels purchased from a bank, who immediately noticed something strange about the doubling on Jefferson's face and the oddly textured planchet. After professional evaluation, its authenticity and uniqueness were confirmed, and the coin was later sold through a private collector's network for an astounding $10 million, setting a new benchmark for modern U.S. mint error coins. What makes coins like this so appealing to collectors is not just the rarity, but the mystery. How did it happen? How many others might exist? And how could such a coin leave the mint unnoticed? It fuels the passion of hobbyists everywhere, inspiring people to start searching their change, coin rolls, and old jars for hidden treasures. Some theories suggest that the die alignment at the Denver Mint malfunctioned during the 2002 production run, causing a temporary double strike before being fixed, and that only a few planchets were affected during the short period. Others believe this particular coin might even be a test strike that accidentally entered circulation, a theory supported by the sharpness of certain features that differ slightly from regular 2002D nickels. These mysteries are what keep the coin community buzzing, as even a small detail, a tiny die crack, a misplaced mint mark, or a clipped planchet, can transform a 5-cent coin into a millionaire's dream. The combination of historical context, manufacturing mystery, and extreme rarity makes the 2002D nickel an icon among modern U.S. coin errors. It's a reminder that not all valuable coins are ancient or gold. Sometimes the most valuable pieces are modern, common denomination coins that happen to bear extraordinary mistakes. When we talk about what drives a $10 million price tag, it's a mix of rarity, condition, provenance, and collector demand. In this case, there's believed to be only one known specimen with all these error traits in such pristine condition, making it truly one of a kind. Additionally, the coin's discovery sparked widespread interest among collectors and investors, who saw it as proof that modern errors could rival classic rarities, like the 1955 double die cent or the 1943 copper penny. The buyer of the 2002D nickel remains anonymous, but reports suggest it's now stored in a secure private collection, insured for its full market value, and occasionally showcased at high-end numismatic exhibitions. Stories like this remind us that numismatics is not just about money but about history, art, and the thrill of discovery. Each coin tells a story of the era it was made, the technology of its time, and the imperfections that make it human. For every collector, there's the dream of finding a hidden gem like the 2002D nickel, a small metallic disc that could change their life. So the next time you handle your pocket change, take a closer look, check the mint marks, study the design details, and examine the surfaces carefully, because you never know when you might be holding the next multimillion-dollar treasure right between your fingers. The 2002D 5-cent coin that sold for $10 million stands as a shining example of how imperfection can create perfection in the world of coin collecting, how mistakes made at the mint can transform into miracles in the hands of collectors, and how a simple nickel can tell a story worth more than gold. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just getting started, this remarkable coin proves that the adventure of searching, learning, and discovering is where the true treasure lies, and here at the Coins Explorer, we'll keep uncovering those incredible stories hidden behind the smallest pieces of metal that carry the biggest histories and the greatest fortunes.